Okay, guys, getting ready for Southwest Audio Fest next weekend. Plenty of cowboy hats I'm bringing, cool outfits. Don't want to miss that. But not so fast. I still have to get out some stuff from Florida, the amazing show in Tampa that I ran my own room, plus helped out in Mike Sweck's room with the Poporis, plus did some coverage as well. This is going to be my best of show with also some after-hour footage that other people took and sent to me that included people like OCD Mikey, Big J, Carla La Rosa, all in the room for after hours. Stay tuned. Okay, guys, before we get to the Southwest Audio Fest coverage, although I've been previewing a bunch of cool things that you're going to want to see there, I want to wrap up Tampa and the Florida Audio Fest, which was one of the best shows I've ever attended. Plus, I had my own room, helped out after hours in the Mike Sweck Unique Home Audio Room with the Poporis. Oh, and by the way, these are leaving tomorrow. Mike Flex flying in. These are going to be at Southwest Audio Fest as well as the Hyper Sale. So make sure you go check them out. This is going to my friend Doug, who bought this pair. And then the Hyper Sale, the production models coming to me after the show. So feel free to check that out in Dallas. I'm going to have some footage in this video from Tampa with the Poporis because people kept asking me, oh, do you not like the Poporis anymore? You didn't put out any videos on it. Honestly, guys, I never got filming in the sweet spot. I helped calibrate it the night before and it sounded phenomenal, but I didn't have a chance to film anything for you. So in this video, I'm going to have that, the Popori room with the Bach. Also, I'm going to have some footage in this video from my room. The desktop system is a DRC2. It's for two doctors, Dr. Schwery and the Dr. C from Odyssey that collaborated on this system. You're going to see some footage, thankfully, that others filmed for me because I wasn't there putting the camera in anybody's face. I was so busy. So thanks to Bob for a lot of this footage and others. But real quick one to get out the way, my best of. I can't give a formal best of like I normally do because really, if you watch my coverage, I did not get in the sweet spot in a lot of these rooms. However, when I do best of videos, it's not really about what I hear in the sweet spot per se alone. That is always a minefield, you know, at volume, the type of song, room issues. What I do is learn about the technology, the people behind it, all of that goes into my best of. So I can still give you right off the bat, when I remember this show, I'm going to just tell you right now what I will remember forever. And actually, one of the things I'm going to remember forever is having to apologize, number one, to a few vendors that I didn't even get to feature, like J.R. Boisclair with Wham Engineering, Wally Tools. When I passed by, he was with a customer. I never went back. He's one of my best friends in the hobby. I didn't even get to cover him. So don't read anything ever into my coverage on one show alone. If I don't cover something, it doesn't mean I don't like it. Some people take it as an insult if I don't go into their room. But it's just I was so busy. One of my best friends, I didn't even get to cover. Isoacoustics, I've been featuring them. I wanted to see that demo in Tampa. I didn't even see the room. I forgot to see the room. Soundfield Audio, one of the best. I remember passing it by before hours and they weren't open, but some of the other rooms, and I ended up not coming back. That's one of the best rooms as well. I missed Audio Note. That's always fun for great music. What else did I miss? It's just so many things that I wanted to see that I didn't get to see, so I apologize for that. The rooms that I did see, I will say, one of the things that will always stick out about this show is that when you went in, you immediately had Acora and Bacch, and then if you went to the left, you had the most amazing wing in such a short square footage area of the best gear in the world, I think. You really could not go wrong any of those rooms. You've got Acora and Bacch, and then you had YG, which is amazing. Then you had Viva with horns, if you like horns, one of the best. You had Gershman and Joseph Audio, two best of the best in point source Bach speakers. I mean, you can't go wrong with all those point source Bach speakers that were there. And then if you wanted omnidirectional, you had MBL. So you had, and then Poporis with the Bach, and you could just find whatever resonates with you in that one wing. You really couldn't go wrong. It's really the best shortest distance of the best brands I've ever seen at a show, and pretty good conditions too, from what I was able to hear. Again, some of them I didn't even get the sweet spot, but that was certainly memorable about the show. The other parts of the show that were memorable is that there were some new things debuted there that I've never seen before, and that's rare because I go to every show. But that one room that had the multi-sub that could be placed against the wall, active, very cool design. That was new. The O speakers from Norway. I apologize. I'm doing this totally off the cuff, guys. But that was very impressive to me. A new brand I'd never heard before. The Oniris one I hadn't heard before. And actually, my video from that showcased a room issue. They could not play it very loud or it would resonate the room. And he actually demonstrated that because one guy was kept asking him, play it louder, play it louder. So yeah, that was indication of an issue with the room, but the speaker was very promising as well. But one thing in those floors that stood out to me, on top of the collaboration with DeShelly and Fidelity Imports, that was a news-breaking thing I just accidentally stumbled on. That's going to be cool. Now you can demo them in dealers soon and have special dealer models of DeShelly. But the one piece that I think most people will overlook and did not hear that really impressed me, and I'll always remember, is in the Margulis room. It wasn't necessarily their floor sanding system and all that electronics, which are always good, but I've heard that before. It was their headphones that they debuted. And man, when I put them on, I didn't have the highest of expectations. I knew it wasn't going to be bad, but I was blown away when I put them on. I mean, I've got X9000 stacks, which is among the best in the best. You can't really beat that, but the price is pretty heavy. But when I put those on, the comfort level was among the best I've ever had. And the combination with performance made it a winner. I was like, at this price point, this is the new reference for me in terms of what I would recommend to people. It was phenomenal. So I think people might overlook that, and I will always remember hearing that at this show. So that was something I wanted to put in my best stuff for you guys. Other than that, I can say I didn't go into one room where everything was bad and didn't impress me. So really, I could sit here and run off all the names of all the rooms for best of in a way, but this was just a great show overall. Nothing bad to complain about. And if you wanted to find new equipment, it was there for you. And another debut was my DRC2 system, the desktop system. A lot of people didn't even know what it was. They thought we were having a conference meeting in there because it was a conference table with a desktop system. But I do have footage shot by Bob where you'll see other people, totally random footage that Bob was shooting as they were getting their reaction to that system. So I'll put a chapter in this video where you can watch that footage and get a picture of that, because it's also going to be in Dallas if you want to test that out. In terms of the Popori and Bach room, I did after-hour sessions, and Bob filmed that for me. And luckily, he caught when both OCD Mikey and Jay from Jay's Audio Lab were in there. And actually, Jay got calibrated with the Bach, and then I gave the remote control to Mikey so he could turn it on, Bach off, and you're going to see all that footage. I wasn't filming at the time. Thankfully, Bob was. But you can also ask them because they were there, but you'll see their reaction to how the Bach made a positive difference with the Poporis. And, you know, I think even Jay came after and told me that the Poporis were really a good find in terms of speakers. But I'm sure he'll put out content as well on that. But the Poporis with the Bach, phenomenal. XR1s were sold, WR3s were sold, WR2s were sold. It's basically a winner. Now the sale is coming to Dallas. Again, disclaimer, I represent Bach. I'm not a representative of Popori, at least as of yet. Maybe when I get my Airbnb, it will be the first speaker brand I represent, because I am going to be an owner of it. It has passed my test. Popori has passed the test that I needed to. If I was ever going to pivot to anything, I've now had enough chances with all their models, done Zooms, done a lot of due diligence. So you're going to be seeing more from me. But what I like to share with you is all these testimonials, home installs, other people's. And to that end, Dave Husto already took delivery of a WR3. I've got video of that coming soon. So tons of more content coming on all of these topics. But I want to get this out to you before Southwest Audio Fest. So enjoy, guys.
You're all set for the MBO room. They light up their hat and smoke later.
Oh, right when I saw Bob put those on, I wanted them.
They changed
Imagine that.
Oh, of course they do. Why wouldn't they? You don't want the ticket? You want to
Everything else to give away?
They're like, man, if you
They wanted to save something for tomorrow.
030. Oh yeah, right here. There we go.
Oh, now you're twins.
Wait, can it go over your glasses? All right. Get back to listening. You want to do a presentation? Here we go.
What up, crew? What up, crew?
There we go.
Look at Bob going, yeah, I got 2 other people to work.
So we're going to do something a little different tonight. But it's already different.
This is almost like cheese and wine right here.
Well, I hear we're upsetting some people with our little...
What, MBL?
The mannequin.
MBL turned it out. Who?
The mannequin. The mannequin. Yeah, I understand a little butthurt. Let me tell you the story behind the mannequin. Okay, well look. The story behind the mannequin is I ordered one that was going to look like me because I was going to be in this room. So I ordered it to his place in Tampa, but then as shipping goes, it didn't get to his place in time. So he had to call anybody locally here that had mannequin sales.
That wasn't a fun phone call. I had to ask for a male or female mannequin.
All they had was a woman's mannequin,
Right? Why would you do
so
anything else?
so that's what we got, and literally I set her up, and then we went to Party City and just dressed her up, and so anyway. Angela Gilbert Young is featured here today. That is Angela Gilbert Young made this power conditioner, and really somebody can attest to this. We were having trouble. I'm getting to see behind the scenes a lot of stuff that these guys have to go through. The power was literally, sometimes we'd have bass, sometimes we wouldn't, and sometimes it would just shut off. And the power situation here was really bad, especially sometimes, as I talked about in one video, the IEC is the most weakest part of any connection, period. Those blades just aren't good. I was just talking to Val from Acora at dinner. He says the exact same thing. Well, I hardwired this power conditioner to the cord, and then Angela Gilbert Young uses these outlets that people were saying it is gripped so tight. Oh my God, they're incredible. And let me tell you guys, sometimes you want to just pick the best outlet. Don't the Audiophile brand. He said, honestly, I'm using these Hubble hospital grades, and they grip better than anything. And I can tell you guys, just from a safety perspective, you do not want loose power connections. I had my Tesla charger after 10 years, it was plugged into the ceiling. It started getting loose, and it creates heat. And whenever resistance, and it almost burned down my house. The whole thing burned. You just don't want to take that risk. Are you not going to have a problem? 99% chance, no. At worst, you may have what I have. But you're not getting full power. We had amps that were playing full bass and less bass. You may not know that unless you know that that's the symptom. And guys, whenever you've done a charger on your phone, have you ever seen the thing that pops up slow charging? Because your phone can actually monitor what's coming in and tell you that, but your gear won't. Your ears may be able to tell you, but your gear doesn't. So this is something that people should not overlook, that IEC connection with the power cord. Make sure that that's tight. I even had Jeff from Blue Jeans Cable, he measured connection quality is something people overlook. So what we're going to do tonight is something different than anybody's done at these shows before that I can recall, at least when I've been going to shows. What I wanted to show is what happened at a recent home install I did. I've been a big proponent on my channel, always having a screen in my videos and playing videos myself. And as I've introduced my friends Doug and others, they put screens in their system. And when you realize how much good quality content is on YouTube, you will not go back to not having that as part of your arsenal. Now, yes, a teenage girl recording a concert on the front row, that's going to be terrible on YouTube. And that's what people think, everything on YouTube is crap. But if you look at BBC recordings, Live with Jules Holland, Tiny Desk concerts, even Adele, the YouTube music video, it's been studied by a site that studies the YouTube, analog pressing, Qobuz, Tidal. Qobuz and Tidal came out last to YouTube on dynamic range. You can look it up, I'll put a link on my site for this.
And is that just standard YouTube, or is it YouTube Music special license?
They're just using
Special
standard
monthly
YouTube,
thing or
yeah.
something? Oh.
But I'll put the link, I'll send you the link. And they actually showed YouTube, Adele's music video is better dynamic range than the streaming version. Now, one thing I wanted to feature tonight, did you do any Bach presentation or anything? Okay, so one of the things that the Bach can give you is the ability to not only have the spatial cues and the frequencies response corrections for one person, albeit, at the listening position, but any content that you play that goes through the Bach now will have all those spatial cues. And so one of the cool things is to, one of the things that people, when you hear the Bach, they wonder like, hey, is it really here? Is it really supposed to be there? Well, one of the things you can do in YouTube is go to these recordings that have a binaural head, and they have the mics there. And so you can see where the mic is, and then you can see where the performers are. And then you can be playing it on your system and then say, oh yeah, that violinist is at 10 o'clock. That person is here. It gives us a window into what the recording actually looked like. And then you can see if your system is reproducing those spatial cues as it was recorded. And so having YouTube to give you that visual that we never saw in the studio for all these things, we just guessed, oh, I guess it should be there, I guess it should be there. That's another benefit of the video side. But what we can show otherwise is the calibration of, Dave, you've never been calibrated yet, right?
No.
Okay, we're gonna do that. I need the mics.
Maybe do either Mike or Jay, because they're Israel. Let them do it first.
It doesn't matter, anybody. Well, you're a customer, so.
He can video you while we do it to you, man.
Has to. All right, go ahead. I'll be the guinea pig.
This is what we ate tonight.
Oh my god. I don't let you look like that.
You guys can swallow your man. You're unbiased.
Who's doing?
You're a man out of the crowd.
Good day. Now what I'll show you, you're not gonna be able to see them that good from afar, but I'm gonna explain to you real quick. I'm gonna do that. So you get a suite of measurements, and a lot of people are confused by measurements and intimidated, and I was that same way too. I just want to come home from work and listen to my stereo. I don't want to get into all these freaking measurements, and I listen to stereo file, like I don't want that John Atkinson crap. But once I realized the power of it, then I started saying, you know what, I need to pay attention to this. And just to show you, what this is the left impulse response. Basically, it's the sound, and then what happens in the room after that sound, the initial impulse. And anything that's big reflections, you want to address with room treatments. And what this allows you to do is see from your left side, left and right, what is happening in your room. You need to not do it combined. And what you can find is sometimes the left side of your room or the right side of your room might have reflections you want to treat. Or if it's exactly the same in left and right, guess what that mostly means sometimes? A floor bounce or a ceiling bounce, because that's the same distance from you.
Yeah.
And so Edgar can help you the first day he sets you up. He said, okay, that's 10 milliseconds, it probably traveled 170 inches. Let's look at 170 inches with a laser. Okay, here's 90, here's the other 80, it hit to your ear. So you can isolate where to put the treatments that actually get to you, reflections that get to your ear based on this. And we did this in Capital Audio Fest. Doug, we had a big reflection. This is perfect, near perfect. But Doug, we had a big one in Capital Audio Fest. So Doug put a pillow over my head, remember?
Yep.
And then we took the measurements, and sure enough, it went away. Now, at Capital Audio Fest, we couldn't stick treatments of pillows up on the ceiling, so we just had to live with it. But at your home, this is super valuable, because now you don't just waste putting things around hoping. You actually can see, if you move that trap, what changes in your impulse response. So this, just as a tool to help you set up, forget about the Bach, forget about anything else, this can be very helpful for you for room treatments and help you regardless of your system.
Would you suggest taking all your treatments down, then making them?
Yeah, you could do that. But what I would just do is keep it where it is, that aesthetically you're happy with, then selectively move things once you're gonna get the measurements. Now I'm gonna come set yours up personally, and we'll see where your impulse response, if you have a big reflection, we'll move some stuff.
It's pretty bad, right?
Okay, well, it'll fix it. This is the crosstalk. This is measuring, that's why it's all wavy. It's for each frequency. Some frequencies you're getting from this speaker in your right ear and left ear, and you've got very good crosstalk cancellation. You're gonna get lots of good spatial cues. And this is the frequency response fixed. So this speaker rolls off around 35 hertz in room. which is actually pretty good for almost any speaker in this size room. But you can add sub if you want to get to 20 hertz. But anyway, what you want to get with binaural measurements is mostly flat up to 1,000 hertz. That is free field, and that's not going to be impacted by your torso and pinna, ear pinna. Once you get to 1,000 hertz, that's where you got to have a very sophisticated algorithm to not overcorrect. And that's why so many people have had problems with DSP because it's not tailored to them. And your measurements here are much, you remember Mikey, your measurements earlier today?
Yeah.
Much different than Dave. So we hear all different because of the shape of our ear, our torso, and then in a different room it may interact differently. So this is never going to be flat, never wants to be flat, but it's going to be your fingerprint, and that's what the algorithm is based on. This is what the speaker measures like in room without any correction. And what this is called is comb filtering. Anytime, in fact, Tastonic drivers do even more of this, way deep, like super deep. These are very linear, but still, this is called comb filtering. We have this, you know, and this is what we hear normally. If this is uncorrected, this is what the frequency response would be in room. And what I'm going to do is play for you the two differences of what it sounds like with, believe it or not, we're going to play it with music, of course, but we're going to play it with pink noise. And the reason I use pink noise is because pink noise plays all the frequencies at the same time. So when you play pink noise, you are getting everything. Sometimes if you A-B in the middle of a song and you're just playing bass or certain frequencies, you may not hear the big delta difference that you're hearing. So let me put on some pink noise. Raise the volume a bit. Okay, so, and I'm going to show you live what's happening. We put Dave in bin 3. So, Dave, this is what pink noise sounds like. I'll get out the way. Pay attention to not only how balanced and equal all the frequencies are, but probably it's a tighter ball in the middle between the speakers. Is that correct? What I'm going to do is bypass everything that the Bach did. I'm going to show you what it sounds like without the Bach involved, and what most every regular room has to deal with. Can anybody not hear that difference?
No.
It's so obvious. Now, you may say, I don't know which one's better, you know, this or that. This is corrected, and most people that have understood pink noise can understand how balanced it sounds. We're going to test it with music, but I just want to show you the difference in measurements alone. Nothing's changed. The room hasn't changed, your ear hasn't changed, you haven't changed. Simply measurements improve the tonal balance. And it's probably even the more focused ball in the middle. Yeah. So now it's time to actually test it with music. With a fly behind your head. You hear it fly. But then watch when the band starts playing though, it's not going to be behind your head.
It puts a fly back here.
If you're behind him, you'll get like 70 to 80%. Yeah. You get, okay.
I see wind of night be gone, this is not your domain. In the sky a bird was heard to cry. Misty morning whisperings and gentle stirring sounds. the deathly silence that lay all around.
Okay, so what I wanted to showcase there is that when there's something in the recording that'll put something behind your ear, you hear it. But then when the band was playing, guess what? It was more back in front as normal. So one thing about stereo that's even better than surround sound, when have you ever been in a movie theater? You got all these speakers all around you, but have you ever heard something put it behind your ear? It's not possible. It's only possible with stereo. And that's the power. We have the right hobby instead of being a home theater addict. We can get stuff proximity to our ears, and that's what the Bacch allows you to do that even surround sound can't do.
I mean, were you saying like surround sound can put like a large object, like a helicopter goes behind you?
Yeah.
But you're saying it can't
Proximity
place
to your
something-
ear? No, it cannot
Okay,
get
so it can't
proximity.
specifically-
And in fact, there's some tracks, some binaural tracks, and I'm gonna save these for when you get yours, because Edgar likes to do this. As David Chesky walking from 30 feet back in the room, and then he walks up and whispers in your ear. And so when you play that for the first time, it's pretty eerie because you literally hear somebody walking and then whisper in your ear.
Do you have that scooter thing with the motor scooters?
Yeah, you wanna play that?
Yeah. Have them listen to that. That's tripped out.
Have you figured out what bike it is yet?
It's a Vespa.
So this is a great track to close your eyes and see if we've accomplished the goal that Edgar's always wanted, is let's get rid of the sight of the sound of the speakers and also the room. This should get rid of both. You were sitting off axis. I'm going to replay that exact same part, and now that you're in the sweet spot, you can see how much just moving one seat to where it's calibrated sounds.
All right.
And really, just close your eyes and just see if you can tell if it's coming from any speakers or if even the walls disappear. For you, just
yeah, no, absolutely. There's a huge difference. Yeah.
So when you're calibrated, and the one thing I forgot to tell you guys,
submersive effect. Yeah.
It comes with a camera too. We're just not doing it because we have so many people in front of the camera. It doesn't know who to. But in a normal listening room, you would zoom it in on your seat, and you can actually move, lean in your chair, and it'll actually keep that.
Calibrates as we go.
Yeah. In fact, we had a terminally ill customer who had to be reclined, almost laying down. And we didn't know for sure if the head tracking would help him get the imaging. And he called Edgar crying. He's like, I can still hear my stereo. And it's so sad he ended up passing away. But that was just, it was so rewarding to Edgar that this guy was able to enjoy his music still. I'm gonna play a track that has no spatial cues because sometimes people think it's fabricated, it's always gonna have this crazy stuff. So I'm gonna play a track you're probably gonna hear around the show. But there is an improvement even with just the frequency response and timing of your drivers. Last night, we have subs over there. And we lined up the subs so that they were at least time aligned, you know, and you hear people like Danny Rich and everybody trying to put time aligned drivers in here, get those voice coils exactly. Well, because of the impulse response, we knew it was 1 millisecond off, you know, and how do you move it to be exactly 1 millisecond? So we used DSP and just said, we delayed the mains by 1 millisecond. What that did was we had a big trough from 100 to 200 hertz, down 10 dB, that was inarguable and very audible. By just changing the delay of the mains to the speaker so that they were perfectly aligned, 1 millisecond, it got rid of that. And that was shocking to all of us last night.
yeah.
And this is part of the benefit you'll get is Edgar has this amazing power to look at that impulse response and say, remember what he told us. It says it's either a floor bounce or it's a delay issue. We tried 1 millisecond and that's all it took. And so sometimes I totally agree, measurements are worthless, specs are worthless, so many things are worthless with numbers. But when 1 millisecond used the right way, impulse response understood the right way, it can make all the difference in the world. So it's about trying to understand, and that's what I'm constantly learning and trying to teach people is that, yeah, it's a pain in the ass sometimes to learn the measurements, but the payoff is huge if you learn how to use it. But we'll play Liberty, which is just a regular track.
Yes.
We haven't heard that yet.
I've never heard this
So this will be a good test because you commonly hear it anywhere.
This is with the Macro Pliers?
Yes, yes.
All right. Let's see. Are you able to turn it on and off?
Yes.
Listen.
What you can do is
Our bodies are hurting
you
like
can
hell.
hit the bypass and then you're bin 3, so just go.
Bin 3 is on.
Yeah, it's actually
They
Dave, but so
promise to
it's not
never
perfectly
leave
calibrated to him.
We're so simple, you can almost not tell the difference. We're doing it for the phone anyway.
Yeah, it's not gonna really pick up the phone, but.
All right, so we're now active, right?
Hearts are breaking like bones. They're picking stars like apples from the sky, threatening to throw them in the sea.
Here goes bypass.
So we won't have
Oh, yeah.
anything to gaze
Do you notice the
upon.
sound get a little more stuck to the speakers as well? Because I can almost tell from over here, but.
What happened to liberty
Back on.
and the bridges we almost got done?
Huge difference.
What happened to that? What's going to take us
It's a
home?
whole other speaker with it on.
Now I'm gonna bypass it again. Bypass.
Go for it.
Some of you even off axis may be able to hear some of the differences because it's a tonal change.
Back on.
Dreams are breaking like glass. But faith is hard like stone.
Bypass.
Sometimes so hard to see.
This is
When I lay down and forget this, you need to
the
pretend.
articulation of the vocal is next level with it on.
What happened to liberty and the bridges we almost got
You
down?
can do one or the other, yeah. I can show you that.
What happened?
When you want to do that, yeah.
That's off, right?
It's on.
Okay.
What's going to take us home?
Okay, bypass now.
What happened to liberty and the bridges we almost got down?
Although there is a difference,
What
there is no denying
happened
there is a
to
huge
that?
difference.
Back on.
What's going to take us home?
It is definitely more apparent to me right in the vocals, but I'm sure there are other changes. You know,
Depending on what track you play, yeah.
Yeah, right. With this one, like right now, would be a great time because she's not singing.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it
Hold
up.
on. Oh yeah, more depth. Far more depth.
Here goes on now.
There you go.
Back on. Back on.
I can hear fire.
Back on.
Oh yeah, depth. Far the instrumentation. It's just more, everything is more locked in. That's really the thing.
Yeah, the goal here is for us in the audio industry to finally have our 4K TV, 8K. The video guys have always had that. You go to CES, they got the newest, coolest stuff, and it was like we rushed to Best Buy to get it, you know? Audio really hasn't had that where people are rushing to get it. But because it's so obvious, I mean, you got a good ear, but you know that almost anybody could hear that.
Yep.
You know,
No,
so
you don't have to.
you don't have to be an audiophile.
Some stuff you really have to
the
be
car
thinking.
audio guys are going to come see me tomorrow. They're coming at Bob Drive. They're going to be impressed. I think, in fact, one of our friends, Pete, his wife actually asked him to put sticky notes on his system, how to turn it on, because she wants to listen to his system while he's at work.
No.
Now, that's never happened in the history of a product review I've ever had, that the wife wants to now play it. But it's so fun. She's playing, like, Madonna Vogue is a track. We can play that. It's a Q sound with her whispering in your ear. It's really cool. And so when you have your family now enjoying the system with you, that means a lot. And then you can spend more money, because they're getting enjoyment.
So Jason, really quick, I want to ask. So what we're listening to right now is software that's on the tablet, and then we're just using.
No. This is just the
It's on that
interface.
computer.
So that
Okay.
Bach has everything. It's a DAC, active crossover, preamp, streamer.
Where is the
everything.
Bach piece?
This here.
Hardware, is that what it is? Hardware?
That's the Bach piece. Oh, okay.
So it's
got
all
it.
in one, and this is your remote control. It just
Okay.
requires this because it's so complex.
Okay, and the laptop streams the music?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Jason, what you were doing was interrupting the crosstalk. He was going between crosstalk and no crosstalk.
Mhm.
But there was still room correction the whole time.
No, he was bypassing everything.
Oh, he's bypassing everything. Oh,
You
okay.
can if you want to just bypass the spatial cues, because sometimes there are some recordings where people just don't want it too much, you know? And we were talking about this earlier with Mike. This is going to be in a Tesla, because we want to have good imaging off center, and this now can do it. But the problem is when you heard that fly behind your ear, it startles people. I had a guy in my room jump up. He didn't know it was, he never heard that track before. And you can't have that happen in a car. So what they're gonna do in the Tesla is dial back the amount of crosstalk cancellation so that you don't get surprised by some of these tracks with spatial cues and startle you and cause an accident. But other than that, it's really powerful, the technology that's coming. But you as the user at home could say, you know, I kind of still like it the old way. I like it a little bit. You can now do it to your taste. And to somebody talk about EQ curves, there's a lot of theory of what is good. You know, most people don't like totally flat. They like either David Chesky's got his own curve. Bob Katz, another recording engineer, has his own curve. Sean Olive, he puts a little more bass. And what you'll find is their curves, they're all built in here, and you can choose them on the fly to test them out yourself. You'll find that some of these recording engineers, their curves are more suited to different music. So if you listen to a lot of studio recordings and pop, you may like the Sean Olive curve. That's your flat, that's your favorite. You got other ones like David Chesky, his type of recording. Classical, Bob Katz, you know. So you're given, you don't have to ever do these little meter things and try to guesstimate what somebody's favorite curve is. He's already
Change
built
that on
these
the
in.
fly?
Yes, and you can save these in different bins. So when you're listening to classical, hey man, I'm gonna listen to David Chesky's curve. That sounds badass. So there's still gonna be levels of preference. I mean, it's pretty obvious here, but when you get in the weeds like these guys and all do, you're always constantly finding new tweaks and things. All of this is here for a reason, guys. There's tons of tweaks you can do, but it's as easy as hearing a difference as what we did in 30 seconds. But let me just let you know, it's a very in-depth product, even more so if you have time and want to get in the weeds.
So Polk SDA was an
Yes.
attempt at this.
Polk SDA is a great speaker trying to do it.
Trying to do this.
But it brute forced it. What Polk SDA did, you have to put the speakers almost in the middle. And what they did was they fired a tweeter this way with out of phase information that came from that tweeter. And so what hit your ear was out of phase with that tweeter, and that effectively canceled what you were hearing from this speaker in the wrong ear. It was super freaky. The last show at the Gaylord of Rocky Mountain, that was one of the best rooms, that Polk SDA. But if you paid it close attention, he only had like 10 tracks that it would work on, because it's just brute forcing it. It was not it wasn't conducive because this algorithm's super complex because mono material it doesn't touch. Another reason why you can tell it's real and not fake is if you play mono material, it's gonna be mono. It's not gonna put it anywhere else but exactly where it is. It can only extract what's in the recording. Stereo recording, it'll put it wherever it is. And if you don't like it, that's totally fine. I have no problem with somebody not liking it. But take it up with the recording engineer, because now you're hearing, you know, tell him that you don't like it the way you like it, okay? That's now what it is.
Does this actually flush out more recording cues that was actually in the recording that we haven't
That's
been
the whole
hearing?
point, yes.
Okay, I didn't know.
Because with crosstalk, everything you're hearing in the right ear of the left speaker and vice versa, that's not stereo. That's not what stereo is meant to be.
Phased out and canceled and.
If you put a mattress down the middle here, we could do the same thing, separate right and left. That's what headphones do. And we like that part of headphones. With headphones, we don't like is everything's in our head, and then your brain immediately tells you it's fake because as soon as you move with headphones, everything moves with you. And your brain says, that's fake, dude. You're not listening to a real band. It's all in my head, and that's not real. But here, you're getting the benefits of no crosstalk of headphones, but it's in front of you, it could be behind you, it's whatever is in the recording. Some of the...
You got a headphone app now, right? That's supposed to come off, they might ring her now.
Yeah, no, here's what the deal is. Tomorrow night, because I don't have time to do it tonight, I'd like for you guys to come back because what I'm going to demo is a pair of headphones. When you're wearing your headphones now, it will sound like these speakers. So yes, what you're going to be doing tomorrow night, somebody is going to be sitting here wearing some headphones, and they will not be able to tell that it's headphones. They're going to think they're listening to these two speakers. And when you move your head, it won't change. The sound stage will be, even though you're wearing headphones. I'll do that tomorrow because I have to calibrate it. It takes a little time, and we don't have a chair. I have to move a chair because my cable for my headphones isn't big enough. So I'll do that tomorrow night, and I guess I'll have to fix the video part because what do you have? Can you get it to work? Or you can't get it to work tonight? Okay, we'll do that tomorrow night. It's been a long day, but we could just listen to music and do requests. We got the bin for Dave. If you want to be calibrated, tell Mike he'll clean the ear things and we can get you calibrated in 30 seconds. But really try to schedule a demo if you can, because before hours, because we like to do it when it's quiet, when other people aren't playing stuff. And we like to get as many people as possible, because usually when some people get that seat, they don't really give it up. So try to get here before hours or after.
Very approachable.
Dave.